You have been looking at no more than projections of a conjured reality, also known as a mirage.
But we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
Welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live. Today, we're going to tell you some truths that'll keep you up at night so we could sleep at night knowing we did our best to inform. Tonight, we've got a lineup that feels like a mix of scandal, surveillance, and straight-up taxpayer headaches. First, we're kicking things off with a wave of headlines about scientists dropping at an unusual rate, and the internet is asking questions nobody seems eager to answer. Then we shift into your neighborhood streets where flock cameras are popping up everywhere in the name of justice. But raising a bigger question, who's really being watched and how much is too much? And finally, we head to Washington, where a recent scandal pushes the president's plans for a new White House ballroom, all under the guise of a need for the ballroom to be militarized. And guess who's footing the bill? Patterns, power, and the price of it all. This is the Rethink Tank Live. Let's get right into it. As you all know, if we have the opportunity when kicking off an episode where we have updates, we want to bring them to you. So, starting off with, a friend of the show, big Thomas Massey people here, all right? And he seems to be the only, of the PSYOPs, he's the only one that seems to be actually fighting for the people. Now, let me remind you, amongst his many fights against the government, here's the one that he's currently taking on that, boy, it's more important than you realize.
Things in the Farm Bill, I'm still trying to get out of it, was successful in getting this out of prior bills, is immunity for a German company called Bayer that makes glyphosate. This is not to grant farmers immunity. This is to grant the corporation immunity if they give if farmers contract a form of cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from this chemical. If this makes it into the Farm Bill, you won't be able to sue for that. And I know they're dealing with some similar legislation at the state level.
So let's be clear before we get into the more recent update with Thomas Massey and outside the Capitol. The president he's done it. First, it was political debate and conjecture, but now it's official. It's happened. And the president has signed an executive order defending corporations from liability and culpability from the use of glyphosate. So where your boomer parents were able to collect on the poisonings from Roundup and everything else to your grandparents, well, that same boomer class has now prevented you from collecting on anything that poisoned you or your parents. So take it away right outside the Capitol. This is just from this past week.
Americans are under attack. There are 4 fronts to this war with the German company. They're attacking our executive branch, our legislative branch at the state level, our legislative branch here in Washington, D.C., and the courts. And what do they want? They want get-out-of-court-free cards. We're not going to give it to them. Was the EPA established to protect the environment and the people, or was it established to protect foreign corporations when they harm the environment and the people? Listen, we are under attack on all of these fronts. My colleague Shelley Pingree and I are working in the House of Representatives on one front. We've offered legislation called the No Immunity for Glyphosate Act.
The people versus poison? That's right.
But it shouldn't even be necessary. We haven't repealed the 10th Amendment. We haven't repealed the 7th Amendment, your right to a jury trial. We haven't repealed the First Amendment, the right of people to say what's in a product. These things have not been repealed, but we're in jeopardy today. Those amendments to the Constitution, those 3 elements of the Bill of Rights are in jeopardy here. Is the Supreme Court today, are they going to gag state judges? Are they going to disband state juries? Are they going to shutter the state courts where justice should be served? And if they do, are they proposing to hear these cases on their own? No. They're proposing that nobody gets any justice. This is regulatory capture. It is corrupt. The White House Chief of Staff worked for a lobbying firm that accepted money from Monsanto Bayer, and that is wrong. That is why we have an executive order that we are fighting. The federal government, and especially the executive branch.
As much as I love what he's saying, it can get very boring. I love as Will pointed out, I do love the movement where you've got the people versus poison. But of the more engaging speakers at the event, I want to click to Vanny Harry, who is just a food activist that kind of really raises the concern.
Pretending this is normal. And let's be very clear. You cannot claim to care about health while protecting poison. You cannot tell Americans to eat real food while protecting the cancer-causing chemicals sprayed on it. You cannot stand with families inside with one of the most evil corporations in the world.
Come on now.
Let's be honest. We wouldn't be here right now if President Trump didn't sign that executive order. We wouldn't be here right now if they weren't inside this building arguing on Monsanto's behalf. We wouldn't be here right now if they didn't submit that amicus brief and that recommendation to the Supreme Court to look at this case when they've lost all over this country.
Can we just, I don't really need to hear more. I think enough has been said. I think it's absurd that the president signed an executive order protecting corporate, for what purpose? Other than they are your friends, other than profit motives. What does that have to do with representing the voter base that put you in there, that you continue to turn your back on? That, I guess I'm speaking, sure, but I guess I'm speaking into the void. Like, this is so clear. Like, we know it's like, oh yeah, but I guess I'm preaching to the choir. I'm harping the same, beating the dead horse, because what's the most insane to me is of the boomer class, but really the voters for Trump. How many of them, I want to know how bad it'll get before they can actually turn on this guy. Because we're learning.
It won't get to a point.
What do you mean?
They won't get to a point where they turn on him.
Yeah, you're seeing that there is a faction that he could literally just start, like he said, killing people in the center of town. And I really don't think they still wouldn't turn. It's in our best interest. Fox News said so. I saw it on the TV. It did, yeah.
Greg Gutfeld agreed.
Yeah, Gutfeld said it with some funny ha-has. Of course it's supposed to happen.
And he played a little dog clip.
It was great. So it's just insane to me that it's like, why does this even have to be said to you? I'm shocked at the class that could see it for the last 15 years. It's like, with Trump, it's like John Cena. What? Can't see shit.
Is he signing the executive order? Can't see it.
Yeah, that's our world. On top of all of this, it's so hard to make people aware, to try to bring attention to these types of things. And it wasn't last week, but amongst the most recent episodes, we reported about the Nick Shirley Act that's trying to be pushed through congressional vote, which is going to forbid, which is the American way. Investigative journalism is going to soon become illegal under the name the Nick Shirley Act. So here's Nick Shirley on the Sean Ryan podcast. And what he uncovered should blow your mind and also raise the reality as to why the Nick Shirley Act exists to begin with, why they want to make investigative journalism illegal.
All you have to do is write a signature.
Yes.
No, nothing else.
You just have to say you're that person and then sign the signature. In fact, it was so easy to register to vote in California. A lady who was actually a Republican registered her dog to vote. And the dog voted in 2 elections. The first election, it voted successfully. The second election, the dog got caught because the person reported herself.
You mean the signatures lined up?
Yes.
The dog's signatures lined up, huh?
The dog
We appreciate accountability in this country.
Yeah, clearly.
registered to vote. Like the dog.
Oh, we lost the back half of the audio, but the fact that a dog was able to vote in an election twice, and the lady was like, "Hey, we got a problem here. I shouldn't be able to keep doing this."
Hey, at least the dog's alive.
Yeah,
It's a living voter.
we had
It's
dead
a living
grandmas
voter.
voting for the last two elections, so I guess that's a victory.
Yeah.
The dog's alive. But we need to make investigative journalism illegal.
Which is funny they're doing this now before the midterms. Like
Because
months
again,
before
the staged
midterms.
play tells you it's not their turn to win.
No.
But it is. I'm watching them. The
What do you mean
push.
that? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Right. So the push to have the fight against liberalism, let's say,
Okay.
was so strong in the last election. It was almost impossible for them to come back from this. Like, it was that bad in March of 2024. It was that bad. So in the forged play that is American politics, how do you get the other side back in the fight? That's how bad they had to tank this other party. Like this, the Republican Party had so much social support. They were able to tank it to that degree in 2 years that not only did they reinforce the Democratic voter base and the moderate voter base that may have gone their way, but they've turned half of their own Republican voter base against them. You can't tell at this point. I don't see another way than it is intentional, because you got to keep it balanced. 50-50. They win, we win. They win, we win. Because if they didn't do this, what are you smirking about?
It's 6-7. Sorry. You said 50-50. I was waiting.
50-50, 67.
That-
No,
that's
so I
what it
was
That's all it was. I was hearing you. I was still in it. I just my brain rot went right to it. Sorry.
Hey,
like
this-
you did it so nonchalant too. I was like, I was
That's
expecting you
why.
to say 6-7. When you said 50-50, I was like, oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah, he's still talking. He's on a heater right now. Like, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Hey, that's it.
But
That's
you're right. Yeah,
it.
no, yeah. They completely, absolutely diminish all social good standing they had in really record timing. I'll give them
Record
that.
timing, which again, it's like you would have swept this next election, but overnight you've burned it all.
Right.
But
Especially after the Charlie Kirk thing. Charlie Kirk thing was, that was pretty definitive for the moderate.
well, now it's just sitting here like, is anything real? Like,
Right.
again, we'll get to it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But this ballroom situation, it's like, you do realize my instinct is it's fake
Yeah.
for everything.
And I think that's
a
we'll
problem.
get to it, but it's a weird problem. It's a weird problem that we didn't create.
And at the
Now-
same time, then you go, but anybody that investigates this shit, that's a crime
and that's weird
in the
that-
free country.
And that's weird that their side's doing it, because it's like when you want us to ask questions, it's helping you.
We're catching the bad guys.
It's helping
Turns out
you.
we're half the bad guys.
You just don't like it when we're catching stuff your side,
Yeah.
which it's funny.
The Somalis.
Right. Yeah. But you know,
I was going to save it for a different episode, so I don't have the clip, but somebody was catching Representative Nancy Mace in the hallway, and
is it
she-
Mace or May?
Mace. Here.
It's not a big deal. Keep going. But all of a sudden, I guess I just kind of got slipped up with it. Mace. Okay. Yeah.
Some of us know. Anyway,
Apologies, Nancy.
she got caught in the hallway, and she flat out points out, you do realize, well, the vast majority of Republicans and the small minority of Democrats all voted for the kill switch in your car. Oh, no, that was it. She recently got pulled because all the Republicans voted with the Democrats to suppress an investigation on Ilhan Omar's familial background or marital background.
Right.
But it's not one big old stage play where they're all on one big team.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product. And
It
get
is-
ready for
right.
its product.
It is let's really internalize how much of a hellscape it is for folks like Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene got kicked out, Thomas Massey, that you are either, it doesn't matter your political party, because AOC should in many ways line up with Thomas Massey against the Republicans.
Right.
But for some reason, she doesn't. It's like being against your party for the people's sake puts you on an island by yourself. You could be against the other party, but for your corporate donor's sake. But the second you're against the other party or against your own party, ergo in tandem with the other party, but it's for the sake of the people, well, now you're at odds with the government mechanism.
Well, you can't have that.
Can't have that. Speaking of which, this one's juicy. Let's go all the way to the other side of the world. A topic that we don't talk about much, reported a long time ago, and it's just a stinker of a topic, if you ask me, because flipping you the bird. The Ukraine war.
Oh, yeah, that's still a thing.
Dude, the videos this week of men being ripped out of their homes, it's been heartbreaking. Like, there's one where this guy's corgi is just like trying to jump on him as the military is just like, nope, we're taking you. And it's like, I can't remember what the term is on TikTok, and that's good because it would flag me and get me in algorithm trouble anyway. But there's a term where it's just like, you don't want me with a gun fighting for you because I'm going to be a problem for you. Like, do you really want to make people do it? Because sometimes you just turn.
Turn.
I don't know the term for it.
Yeah, but that's, convenient.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's becoming a real problem in Ukraine right now. That being said, when you, as Doug said before we went live, when you're one of the tough beings in this world that is not afraid to rethink and you're going to speak out against this mechanism, takes balls, and it really isn't easy to do. Let's appreciate, get it where you can, like V for Vendetta. Anytime you could catch the airways and make an impact, be that patriot. Well, here's a sign language lady translating for Zelensky. She takes her shot.
Системний підхід, який дозволить
He lies, is what she says.
покладатись
And then
на
that
свої
also
сили
says,
суттєвіше.
do not believe the
Дати
lies.
суспільству зараз
And then they cut her
умови
out.
цієї війни можливості жити достойніше.
The sign language lady is literally first the thing she signs, not what he's
Системний
saying.
підхід,
He's
який
lying.
дозволить Україні покладатись
sign.
на свої
Don't believe the
сили
lies.
суттєвіше.
Cut her
Дати
out.
I hope
суспільству
she updated
зараз
her resume
в
right
умовах
before she went
цієї
on.
війни можливості
Was a sign language expert from whatever to present or till 10 minutes ago, and patriot from 10 minutes ago to present.
There's a large gap in your resume. Do you care to explain what that was? Yes, I was serving in the Night's Watch.
What a true hero.
They sent me there.
Nice job, Cheryl. We're proud of you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
You did the damn thing. Now, if that doesn't energize you enough, let me really breathe some life into this episode. This is, of all the clips, of all 55 of our clips we're throwing at you today, I gotta say, this is my favorite. This is the true winner. Because you've heard me say this many a times on the show, nothing really grinds my gears more than the shit-eating grin of Secretary Lutnick. Just the freaking face of Howard Lutnick is probably the most vile thing I get exposed to. But when that shit-eating grin gets served a spoon open wide, a spoonful of his own shit, on the record, in front of the American public, I gotta say these are the moments I live for.
Secretary Lutnick, why did you lie to the New York Post about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
Smile.
Laugh now, bitch.
Please
Smile.
repeat your gracious offer to speak behind closed doors, not under oath, without the ability of this committee to question you. The American people want
Get him,
to know,
Madeline.
why did
Get
you
him.
lie about your relationship with Epstein?
Get him.
House Oversight Committee and I have agreed.
We
that
are
will
the
spend
appropriate
the time
reclaiming my
together.
time. I do not accept that answer. We've heard that one. We
Good
are
for her.
our own committee. We have our own.
Yeah, I mean, at least Hillary
test
had the balls
your
to go at
credibility.
him. You know what I mean? When then she got pressed.
Well, and again, he is testifying not about Epstein, which there is their own oversight committee, which is where you would testify about it. But she's using her time, which you're allowed to do, to ask about anything. So he's saying, I agreed to come here and testify under the pretense that I'm going to testify to the committee, not here. Why? Because it's live, improvised. You have to answer the damn thing. You're not coached by lawyers. You're not in a private room that can get reinterpreted. It's right now, off the top of the dome. It's kind of like you got to speak purely from the heart. Let's hear it, Lutnick. And he's like, I promise the committee people that I've already agreed. And she's like, no. And she keeps doubling down.
Accept that answer. We've heard that one. We are our own committee. We have our own reason to test your credibility and veracity. Please answer the question. Why did you lie to the Post?
I have voluntarily agreed
Okay,
to spend the time and talk about it.
I reclaim the time. Reflect. You're dodging the question.
love her.
The cover-up continues. You know what? In your conversations with the president, is the president concerned about your continued relationship that you had with Mr. Epstein?
No, I still have a
as
job.
recently as 2018?
I'm not going to discuss conversations I have with the president. That is
Laugh, clown.
something I'm going to do.
If you
Giggle.
remember in that interview, you said you would never be in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. President Trump has just fired 3 cabinet secretaries, 3 women, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Lori Chavez DeRemer. If President Trump has even a shred of concern about accountability for Jeffrey Epstein's enablers, he would fire you too. Beyond AdFin, what other financial ties do you have to Jeffrey Epstein?
As I said, I'm going to answer all these
Beyond AdFin, what other financial ties? You're the Commerce Secretary. We have a right to ask this question and get it answered.
Again, I'm not going to spend the budget day
Squirm.
discussing something I've set aside time to spend on this topic.
I'm going to
with your
switch
House
topics.
colleagues.
Yeah. I already lied about this once. I don't need any more. I love this. Here's the reality. We're not going to win this. But this is the most public this thing's ever been. And with that, we should just be unrelenting. Just that guy, Howard Lutnick, shit-eating grin, should never be able to go anywhere without us making it hell. No one's going to touch you. There's literally going to be no harm. You cannot have peace amongst the people. You're an enemy of the people. That is what it is. And for whenever, you know, the people versus O.J. Simpson, whenever the courts stop reflecting the people, that's cool. We might not be able to get you in a cage, but the people still haven't given up the fight. We're not going to forget. Yeah. And I just love these little moments, except for now, one last update came from today. It has nothing to do with the topic, but it really isn't a topic itself. We're just going to land and keep moving. This whole episode is going to be shitting on Trump, the evil Republicans, and, you know, the rest of this Orwellian future that's being piled on top of us. However, as we just dump on one side, something needs to be real clear, and it's in no way vindicating the morons on the other side of the coin. It's you're worse. You're so much worse. And why is that? Because I've always said forever, the Democrat is a logical inconsistency. They literally live in a world where they have their cake and eat it too. It's a Schrodinger's cat. Like, it's just, they're dead and alive at the same time. They are a logical phenomena and conundrum. That being said, the perfect evidence is the people that do nothing to make social change, but except burn shit down and make loud noise, as they've now, it's transitioned from burn for BLM to burn for the gays to burn, whatever they're burning for. The new thing that we burn for is no kings.
Yeah, that's a
but boy, the second we get a motorcade with King Charles III coming right into Congress, all those, and don't forget, God's chosen people's king. We're not even going to say Boss Baby's name. He was in there last week, and they all were kissing the toes. And I wasn't going to say nothing, but I have to point out, when a king walks into Congress and the no kings people give us the following. How did you put a king?
Members of Congress,
I love
I
me
have the
some
high
king. I
privilege
got
and
my
distinct
pink
honor
phone out. Check that out. Let's go back.
to you, His Majesty.
Look at the pink
Members of
iPhone. I'm
Congress,
getting
I have
this.
the high privilege
I'm
and
gonna show
distinct-
my little girls, my grandkids are never gonna believe my Democrat ass saw a king. I saw a king. So proud.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
Now, when a little black kid who's had half his head carved out because he had a tumor, we can't be united in clapping for him. But when the king walks in, all the Democrats rise, baby.
All hail the king.
Up, that's our man.
Nice.
These people are idiots.
Well,
Oh, I love this. What a wonderful moment. It's a king. Oh my goodness. His hands looked pretty normal in this one for King Charles. I got to give it to him. Now, it is funny. We could have wasted your time watching him try to separate the two pieces of paper to go to the next page so he could read. That's a story in and of itself. I don't know. You're probably not aware. King Charles has giant swollen red hands.
oh no.
But today they were good.
No,
They weren't that bad.
I don't care for the monarchy.
Well, that's what incest does. Now, starting the next topic of the day. You good, Doug?
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that.
Now, that being said, let's get into our first topic of the day, which is this crazy phenomena around scientists that are unaliving themselves, dropping like flies, disappearing. It's a weird situation. Sure, disappearing. You never. And with that being said, we need to go back about a month ago because we don't want to get right into the scientists because it's one big picture we're painting here. So, Representative Burchett, coming from Tennessee, was recently within the news talking about how Matt Gaetz publicly disclosed how he was on a confidential committee when he was in Congress and how they were exposed to aliens. And now this is really becoming public knowledge. This is becoming a forefront of the public discourse. And so it's made the other representatives feel a bit more comfortable of kind of dropping nuggets of what they've experienced in these confidential, highly classified experiences with aliens.
Colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how
It's breeding a lot of things.
Yeah.
you react to that because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean,
What
I'm
you
just
got to
wondering
say,
what
big
you
dog?
make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
No.
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said.
Want to cop out?
But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that
I'm
tongue in
being
cheek?
100% serious. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And it would have set the earth on this this country would have come unglued. I think if they would have heard all that I heard, they would demand answers, and we need to. But it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks. So,
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman. We will have you back.
You should be. And I told the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you.
Hey, that's the closest way to saying it without showing up unalived.
I know. I just can't wait till the one time they go up there to talk and it's not vague at all.
Well, and here's the other side. Well, Matt Gaetz did, and he's Bruchette's pretty much saying, a second I'm out, I will too, which is probably telling you he's not going to make it out. But the thing that really stands out to me is when he goes, there's things that I saw or heard or read or whatever that would make everybody stay up all night. The country would come unglued. They'd go, no, it wouldn't.
I'd like to know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad we want to know. Here's my question for the room. Beyond literally watching Hillary Clinton frazzle drip, is there anything more you need to know about Epstein and the government's hand in the trafficking of humans?
No.
I think we're all pretty sold. The court of public opinion is adjourned. We've got our verdict. And if that doesn't unravel the country, then I don't know what will.
Yeah, your comparison to OJ versus the people, it's like, in the court of public opinion, you're all guilty. We all kind of have the details of this. Not saying pivot to the alien thing, but I want answers on that too now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Especially in recent months with these scientists disappearing.
Especially when we know about things
Real
like...
quick, I feel like recently too, we've been hearing more meteors. Like we had one here in Ohio, but then there's been reports of other ones over the last couple of months. Are these aliens landing on Earth? Are they the Autobots coming to help us fight the Decepticons? What's going on?
Maybe. I hope it's something that simple. After the whole Matt Gaetz explanation, it's like, well, I've seen a movie on that. I know what happens there.
That's why they make movies, Will. We've had that talk. It's to get us desensitized to this stuff. Hollywood's in with the government.
I think we're well past the desensitized part of it now. I think in this reality, considering what the internet provides for us, now we just want answers. Especially after the whole Epstein thing. I mean, we were desensitized to that years ago. Now, the public kind of en masse is now finding out more about it. But we've been on this train, like you said. I want more information out of it, but nothing's surprising me. Nothing is kind of blowing my mind about it. When it comes to this, it's like, this has my interest. I'd like to know more answers because it's kind of Epstein Island. You can kind of research on your own. You kind of come to these own conclusions. These are more difficult to kind of come to.
Right. So, again, that's kind of just opening the door to this whole topic of scientists surrounding the curious physics of our world. It's from anti-gravity to UFOs. It's a whole science that seems to be deadly. But now that clip that we just showed was coming from a Matt Gaetz disclosure from about a month or two ago. So it's been a while. Well, now this is Representative Burchett talking now about what the comings and goings, because let's be real. The passing of these scientists has been going on for a month or two. We weren't going to talk about it on the show, and I've continued to try to just kind of overlook it and move on. But now this week, it's more relevant than ever. We're gonna unpeel that whole onion. But this was Bruchette's comments coming from this week.
Did you see? Now, I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there was somebody in the meeting with us, one of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw, a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time the question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So there have been different reports over the years. Some reports that there have been pieces of machinery that were found that did not seem earthly. And then there have been reports about life that is not earthly. Which one of those two, or both, are you talking about? A form of life that is not earthly, or just something mechanical that's not earthly?
I'd say you'd be safe to say both.
The way you described this, whatever happened at this meeting, this briefing that was happening, was there something that if we knew, we would feel that we are in danger? You said you wouldn't sleep at night if you knew.
Who'd you interview? Jar Jar Binks.
That's the funny part is it's so big that our minds go to when he says like man and machine. I'm like, oh, it is the Autobots.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's how dumb my brain is. It's like, oh, I'm associating it with something I
was right. And did he turn into a fire truck after your interview?
It's just one of those things where our minds are so, it's got to be this, it's got to be that.
Well, dude, it's what a crazy freaking world that like we all collectively vote for a representative because we all can't be the guy. So we pick one guy to do the representing for us. The guy goes in the room. He goes, holy shit, you won't believe what's in there. And it's like, well, you could tell me.
Nah.
And then he's like, well, if I do, God's chosen people will kill me. So it's crazy that we sit here in the freest of free places, still far from free. And we'll get to that. You should see a commercial in America for freedom in 2002. And you're like, shit, we should have bought that when they were selling it. But in a world where they tell us it's freedom, it's crazy to think millions of us were like, you go in the room, check out Jar Jar, come back, tell us what the fuck's going on. He comes back and he goes, there was a room. All right, what was in it? Things. Can you give us more? I'll die. How's that freedom?
Yeah,
that's the quote. You're like, for let's say the last 15 minutes, you're like, damn, this is really vague. We're not getting anything out of these people. And it's so crazy that that's the closest he can get.
Yes.
Or the CIA is going to drive his car into a tree.
It would be super fun.
I love his point, as Doug pointed out, where he goes, I have had no intentions of harming myself, and I'm not a risky person. It's like, I don't drive fast. I don't do those things.
Let's just play out this scenario here. Is if it is like a Jar Jar Binks, right? And you finally
I want Megan Fox, please.
You're finally like the one guy. And I just think of like Randy Marsh in that one South Park episode with the Pinewood Derby, where they're all just talking through him now. And it's just one Joe Schmo, and he goes back there and it is Jar Jar Binks. And he's so embarrassed by what it actually is. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Yeah, he's like just at the same time, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Right. Yeah, like you don't want to talk to him. You don't want to talk to him. But he can't say that, so he just keeps it as vague as possible, like it's something really mysterious.
Doug,
it's probably not.
I agree.
So what I took all that is apparently even our congressmen aren't safe from three-letter agencies.
Bingo. Literally, he goes, I've been briefed by every part of the alphabet. I'm not saying a word.
I love the idea of knowing too, like Trump just constantly when they start bringing it up, he's like, don't want to know, don't want to know. Like even he's at the point, he's like, I know.
Burchett's like, we're dying to tell him.
Plausible denied.
And he's just constantly, I heard it's bad. I heard it's bad. Or something. I don't know. It's probably good. Like he's just like so like, nope.
No. Keep telling him I don't want to hear from him until he kisses the wall.
Letter that the presidents leave to, famously they leave to like the next one that goes in the Oval Office, and they just show the one page, and really on the second page it's just like just ignore it. Just ignore it. Ignore it. Act like you don't know it's there.
It would be funny if 4 years later Trump sits down. He's like, let's see what the auto pen wrote me. And he opens the drawer and it's his note. It never moved. It's his from 4 years ago that he left for Biden. He's like, that mother.
Well,
he can't even read.
He's just.
Did anybody sit at this desk for 4 years?
You want to know what his first thought would be? Did anybody tell him?
Yeah.
Like, did he just forget? Like, you never mentioned anything. You didn't even read
No,
it.
he opens it and it's this lovely letter. Good luck to you. God bless America. You haven't signed Dr. Jill Biden. What the? So let's get into the travesty that runs in tandem with this alien exposure that's currently coming out of the government. With this moment, with all these dropping scientists and curiosities, we're finally reaching the Great Awakening. Click it to Action Bronson that's forcing Palantir puppet Joe Rogan to confront the very nasty situation.
Have you been paying attention to this news about these UFO researchers and scientists that are going missing? Yeah. What do you think of that?
Don't top doctors go missing. Don't top physicists go missing. Don't fucking astronaut. All these fucking people.
Oh, Action Bronson.
Every time I see Action Bronson, it does. I think of like 2016, him with Chance the Rapper.
Well, Andy's yoked. Like the
no,
exercises this dude does.
Yeah, it's just I just always think of back in college. Action Bronson, you know,
the Action Bronson.
Right? You know, and it's like, oh my god, man, he looks great.
But I do love. He's like, watch what you say. All right, what do you think of these scientists? Don't fuck this up.
What do you think of that?
We will kill you. It's just Jar Jar Binks going.
It's not even Joe holding it. It's Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie off camera is just
like Ben Stiller in that Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Listen, don't top doctors go missing. Don't top physicists go missing. Don't fucking astronaut. All these fucking people who are in
facts.
You know, power positions. Not even just position of high intelligence, knowledge.
Yeah.
They go bye-bye. The best heart surgeons on earth, 7 of them were on the same fucking plane that went down. What do you know?
What do you know?
The best, whatever. They just found the cure for cancer. These 10 doctors, they're on a PJ to fucking who the hell knows where, and they go down.
Jesse wrote a good write-up about them all.
President.
All that I think explains the angle we would prefer to hear about, like conspiracies and UFOs and stuff.
So he thinks it's a conspiracy?
I don't know.
He's laying out the
that,
possibility of it being a conspiracy.
Well, let's just say more confusion ensues and they never really get to the topic. Does that surprise you?
Joel, forget he had that conversation.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
important happened.
Oh, Palantir said, change the subject.
Oh my God, was that during the White House Correspondent Dinner? I forget where I was.
But it's interesting. It's finally becoming a part of the main dialogue. Now, here's a song coming from Thai Music. I'm probably going to get in trouble because Thai Music got banned off of TikTok for this song. But, there's no way of putting philosophy and political science in a more educational form than a good old song.
This is getting pretty weird. We got 14 scientists missing or dead, and the first one's Neil McCaslin. He's director of the Air Force Research Lab. It's a busy year. They killed Carl last month on his porch, and he was finding water on planets. You remember Nuno. From a month before, his was weird. A scientist in a school shooter drive-by. It's weirder than Black Mirror, if only the billionaires are gonna get to sci-fi. It's unclear. In January, Jason was found in a lake and he was working for pharmaceuticals. Doesn't sound like big oil, that sounds like CIA. Last year was just as scary. They got the whistleblowers from this nuclear plant. The first was Anthony Chavez, the Melissa Casius, and Stephen Garcia. Damn, the skin color is very similar. Who knew these engineers had the most dangerous job, and it's not the radioactive material, just like being assassinated if they say, I think we should stop. The last 4 worked here. And then Monica Reza disappeared on a hike, and then Frank Maywald, no autopsies. Why? For their top senior scientists. That's weird. Michael Higgs, I didn't know you worked there too, and you worked on deflecting comets, and now we got a Armageddon. This was the weirdest. She went into hiding after all of the threats. She discovered anti-gravity, and you just believe she shot herself in the head. It's pretty clear. If your economy's based off fossil fuels, you're not going to get renewable energy, and those that try die. They don't make the news.
And They don't make the news.
It is funny though. At the beginning of this, you mentioned it's obviously been going on longer than a month or two, but within the last month or two, it's really
Ramping up.
mainstream. Yeah, ramped up in terms
They've
of.
all got recruited for some secret project where they're going to do some secret stuff and they have to just not exist.
Here's what I think's going on. I don't think they're still alive, Doug. Sorry to break it to you.
I don't think they're.
What I think happened is either they discovered like a meteor's coming and they don't want to disrupt the status quo. Like it's inevitable. It's going to kill us all. And they don't want anybody saying anything. So the economy keeps moving and people keep working. That could be it. I have been reading about how, with Project Bluebeam. Try it. Go for it. Let me know.
Try it.
Let me know.
Before they send Bruce
I'll check
Willis out there to fix it.
So I also think it could be there's a likelihood with Project Bluebeam that by 2027 or 2028, we are going to have a real or false flag event of a mothership coming to the world that'll unite the new world order, that'll promote this belief that we're not in a firmament, that we're not a special child of God, you're just a speck of dust in infinity. I don't know what the play is, but it's either these people know. Sure. Yeah, because we haven't had a second contact, Doug. So any contact's going to be the first.
My hope is it's the Vulcans, a nice, peaceful, logical race. That's my hope.
Could you cut his mic?
Hey, I love sci-fi. This is my area of expertise, guys.
You're not wrong. That's fiction. This is real.
What were you saying?
So let's get into who these scientists were, because I think that more than anything is going to explain maybe why they're a threat.
It was a wide variety of studies.
So the one that I think really got my attention, that I think is, this is the reason it's a topic. The most recent person to pass away was David Wilcox. We got a lot of clips from David Wilcox. This man has been predicting the future, been exclaiming for as long and as loud as he can the current status of our relationship with this reality, with aliens, with God, with all of it, with our government, how it's all corrupt, how he's at war with it. He's been on all of these sci-fi shows and NPR, BBC. He's very public, but he's also, he's kind of written off as a conspiracy theorist, but he's also a expert physicist that Washington, D.C. relies upon. So how crazy can he really be? But here's a slew of David Wilcox clips that I think will open your mind.
35 years of experience in doing research into the subject of ESP, metaphysics, paranormal realities, alternate forms of matter and energy research. This is a subject that has come up over and over again and has become increasingly apparent to us in the recent disclosures of Edward Snowden. What we are finding is that reality,
because they really liked that guy, right? He's still cool with the government,
is not as simple as we thought. Reality is a story. It is only a story that we think is true because everyone is telling the story. And yet, is it possible that reality is only a story being sold by the power groups? A story that is sold to us in particular to keep us under their control. In my opinion, reality is the greatest story ever sold. What we find out is that reality is defined by the voice of the collective. What everyone around us is saying.
Okay, so a piece from that. I had a sociology professor, 45 minutes, 4 days a week. So it was like a short class, but it was every day. And the repetition of just him going, none of this is real. Like racism, money, jobs, driving on the right side of the road, It's just we recreate it every day. Racism only exists because we wake up tomorrow and recreate it. These financial systems, these hierarchies of social existence only exist because we decide in unison to recreate it every day. And one, that should tell you it's almost inevitable because it's so hard to steer or drive a collective consciousness. You and I can have our own independent consciousness, but look how different it is from our parents, let alone their neighbor, let alone, somebody in Kentucky. We're all so very different, but that's not the mind you're trying to persuade or guide or steer. It's the collective consciousness, which is kind of like a wave. You can only, if anything, put barriers you can never directly impact it. So it's easy to say, like, yeah, if tomorrow we all decided we're not doing capitalism anymore, it's over. Or like we're not doing a social justice or a criminal justice system with jails. It's just we're not doing it. It's that easy to just not do it tomorrow. But think about how hard it is to change the collective consciousness so we all in unison stop. So you don't. It just continues. It snowballs. So anyway, to his point, they've created this reality and we are participants in it every day, recreating it. And I think the cool part is what's getting away from them is due to the internet, the collective consciousness steering away from what they've been able with newspapers and limited education and exposure. They've been able to truly dictate that consciousness, and the internet is forcing it to bleed through their fingers. Yeah, that's why people like David Wilcox are such a threat. But let's get to some more Wilcox.
Evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And they're trying to do that, and they're aggressively pursuing this goal right now. There are two lines of...
He seems like a guy they'd let hang around.
Seems like a great guy at a party.
Not me.
of reality in the world. In one reality, you are believing everything that they tell you, and you can't understand why things are so crazy. Those people who want to live in that denial, they are being battered by experience, they are being battered by information, they are being battered by consciousness, and they are seeing all of these things come in to their reality, whether they like it or not. Those of us in the truth community say, we don't understand why people can't conceptualize such simple things. This is simple information. Why can't you understand something that's so easy? Please try to have more compassion for these people who are suffering and understand that it has nothing to do with the simplicity of the concept. The concept is very simple. Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And they're trying to do that, and they're aggressively pursuing this goal right now. Anyone could theoretically be a philosopher and say, well, I don't believe this and it makes me scared and it makes me feel unsafe. But hypothetically, theoretically, maybe perhaps just in case, what if it's real? Your maturation is the awakening that you are in a hero's journey, that there is a huge villain and you better get off your ass and fight him before he kills you. That's what's so hard to understand. The alchemy of the galaxy, the alchemy of Jesus Christ, is that you will become like him. John 14:12, as I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. So when we're looking at the possibility of liberating ourselves from the suffering that so many people have, it ultimately comes with the understanding that you cannot die. You cannot die. You are not threatened by anything. You have nothing to worry about. And this whole entire world, as traditional as it seems to be, is actually a reality construct.
But then what happened to him?
It's not real.
They were
It's
saying
an
that to him.
illusory reality. That's the awakening. That's why people have a hard time seeing something that, oh, it's so simple. Why can't they see it? It's such an easy thing to understand. No, it's a paradigm shift. It's coming to realize that everything you ever thought was true in your life is a freaking lie. You were lied to about every single thing. There are satanic communities where everybody's in on it, and they have mind control where you don't know they did anything. And they do it so well that you can't remember that they did anything. Hypnosis is a lot scarier than I thought, and it's been used a lot more than I thought. And so many victims are not aware that anything ever even happened to them. I have a personal stake in getting rid of these things because they abused me, and I am not happy about it. And if you think this is fake and you want to laugh at me, and you think that I'm making up abuse memories and that this shit didn't really happen to me,
Doug, don't say a word about the date. He listened.
Yeah. You know what's funny though is the whole time he's saying this, I just in the back of my head I was like, "Don't you have a job? Like, aren't you employed?
Paid by the government?"
You know, like I was like, "Wait a minute, don't you like? It's not real. The paycheck seems real.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Then why are you playing the rigmarole?
You're playing the game.
It's okay.
But again, I don't blame him though. I'm not blaming him for playing the game. That's what we're all doing. So we're kind of playing into what he's saying. It's just irony of him going home, going like, "You're playing into the game." As he clocks in the next day. You know, that's like where I'm at. I was like, "Wait, what? What?" And he looks like
Well, here's what I want to say. I want to believe that this is, he became a threat to the system because he started becoming more and more vocal once he kind of left working for the government. So I'm sure either you're on a contractual break or you're not. I just think you're not doing that job if you're coming in like, "Dude, do you want to know what we did at work yesterday?"
Yes. That's all
But I also want to acknowledge this David Wilcock dude has been talking about this for years.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
This, that one was the most recent. We're going to see some old clips of his where it's like, yeah, no, there definitely were points where he was saying this shit while he was punching in at work. Like that is a reality to this.
And I don't blame him because that's what we do. Like,
Right.
We're talking to work and we're doing this tonight. It's just
Well,
the
no
funny
matter
part.
what, I still want to be able to afford Fortnite. Like
Right,
I
you know,
need V-Bucks.
that's the thing.
So like if the world's gonna burn, I still want to be Ice Spice big guying on some 14-year-olds in Fortnite.
I
gotta afford
he's
that.
saying this too, and he turned his camera off. There's another monitor there, and he's like, "Where are we dropping?
Where are we dropping, boys?"
He's got these V-Bucks.
I got some Ice Spice skins and ducky slippers.
But no, I totally believe he's been doing this for years. Because if he just went to work one day and came back like that, I've been like, "Bro, relax."
Hey, welcome back. What'd you do yesterday? Well, I did a podcast.
I'm excited to be here. Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing.
2 days before his passing.
Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
That's a guy that's seeing the walls close in.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers, from the cabal itself, is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles that allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos, in these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies. They're out there showing you the truth. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice. These people honestly believe that they are the descendants of gods, that they are the chosen, that they are God's special people, that we are delusional
Where have I heard
and
that?
the true creator is this wisdom principle that they think of as Lucifer. That wisdom principle gave us ancient mystery school teachings, and that the enemy, which they call Adonai, the adversary, which we would call the Christian God, came to try to defeat them. Then they even take it a step further and they look at texts like the Bible and they say that where it says in the end times that God will take the money from the wicked and restore it to the just, that we as a planet are the wicked and they are the just. So this is how they justify their financial corruption. They don't believe that we deserve the money. In fact, they believe that if they did not dominate us and if they did not control us and play all these games, that we left to our own devices would destroy our planet. So in some twisted rationale, they believe they are saving the earth. They believe humans are bad for the environment. We cause pollution, so they have to reduce population. Then they seed that into movies like The Matrix, where Agent Smith says that that humans are like a virus on the planet. This is one of a variety of ways in which they will usually embed their teachings into the villain.
Well, at least they know where they are in the story, and that is the villain.
And he would have been a great guest on here.
I think we would have seen eye to eye.
Yeah.
There might have been. Talk about a man preaching to the choir.
I was totally amazed to find out this prophecy of a first wave of ascension, that it was going to happen by mid-2025, and that there is going to be, as I just said, a full solar flash, but only after everybody's ready for it. So some of us are going to be able to go right into that higher astral body
I'm there.
and be ready for the full-blown force.
I don't know about you guys. Have you ever seen This Is the End? As soon as this shit hits, y'all can figure out the rest of this.
Hopefully you don't have a James Franco freak out.
I'm doing it, baby!
Density right away after this first wave happens. So apparently there will be some people who become incredible superheroes right off the bat. And this could involve telekinesis, this could involve telepathy, this could involve shooting lightning out of your hands,
Compound V as children,
balls of
it's just now going to appear.
light out of your hands. All these kinds of interesting things appear to be some of the basic stuff. The ability to project thought forms, to project complex visual thought forms.
All right. There's so many of these clips. We're just going to kind of rattle through some of them. Here, this is a good one.
Yesterday and today is the very first public unveiling in a public presentation of Project Looking Glass. A human being is about this tall. This is built in underground bases. It is colossal in size. And what happens is when you fire this thing up, these rings start going in all different directions. It shields off the barrel of water inside, which is just like your pineal gland. The water inside flips over into time-space, which then captures argon gas, captures visual images, and this is what it looks like.
Trump's like, take him out. Get rid of him. Get him out of here. He knows too much.
David Wilcox. And this morning, he became the 12th scientist to unalive himself. Take a listen to what he said on his final live stream.
Every day that I have on Earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Gary.
His last live, the thumbnail was a picture of Trump in his Jesus robe, and it was, has Trump lost his mind? Is he the Antichrist?
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
Oh, no.
I think this is really weird. This is from his last live.
Okay, here we go.
And I am so grateful, and we'll do the typical
season.
What?
That was South
That
Park
was
last
South Park's
season.
whole last season was the Antichrist and Trump. So that's really funny.
No.
I think this is really
Dude,
weird.
he
This is
knew
from his last live.
Okay, here we go.
And I am so grateful, and we'll do the typical lead out here, and A-N-D, not E-N-D, and scene.
I mean, I don't know. So, like, the bigger question is, like, what is actually going on? Whether these people killed themselves, they were killed, is like, what are
Why?
the secrets of why?
On February 19th, Trump tweeted out, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America.
And what is your takeaway from that particular message right there?
It's
right?
Jeffrey Epstein 2.0. We're releasing all the files, except there's 3 million we haven't seen, and they're going to release some information that they have, and they got to whack everybody that's going to contradict or come out and say, hey, sorry, I am an academic. I've been studying this for 20 years. We actually have different information. One by one, they're plucking them out, and they're gone.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
If I were to put it delicately, that's what I think it is. I've got 3 more clips, so let's just do them all of David Wilcox here.
Right along here, and I want to make clear that, you know, we are, again, living in this holographic universe, and when you start to understand that, you have a lot of things that'll take you a long way. And we need to eat more alkaline, that's true. But anyway, we're getting a lot farther by understanding that we're not alone and realizing that we do have loving beings who want us to awaken into what they would call the eternal now. And as you awaken into that eternal now, you become conscious of the fact that you are not alone. The universe itself is actually alive, it is benevolent, and it is conscious. And so that's pretty exciting when you start to look at it that way. Because now you're not alone and you're not thrown against the winds of fate and stuck in you know, endlessly perpetuating negative loops. There's a way to get out of these things. There's a way to upgrade. There's a way to feel better and not be trapped and have some good things start to happen in your life that really, we all need that. So the idea of the universe being alive, benevolent, and conscious, that's really one of the things that keeps me going, because the universe is thinking. The universe around you is alive. It's thinking and it's aware and it knows what's going on. And we're not just subject to this endless repetition of negativity. The hero's journey is a very real thing. The hero's journey takes us through an initiation that guarantees a positive outcome. The villain is defeated. The positive wins out. The hero has to appear dead for 5 pages of screenplay, but he or she comes back to life. And there is a resurrection that occurs. It's a resurrection of the quest. It's not necessarily a literal resurrection. But these are the things that we're dealing with. These are the things that are really happening, and we can get a long way with that.
We are locked right now. Oh, there we go. All right. We've got 2 more clips closing out at least David Wilcox here.
Honestly believe that they are the descendants of God.
We've already seen this one.
They are the chosen.
So let's skip to the last one.
Listen carefully to the people who are saying.
We're going to wait on that one. All right. So the last one here is actually the Palantir CEO. So I got to remember that. It's number 22. Okay. So with that being said, let's kind of close out this topic here. At least the David Wilcox element. Somebody whose opinion I really wanted to bring in on the David Wilcox topic is a friend of the show, Byron the Magnificent. And first off, for those that don't know, this TikToker that we appreciate, his name is Byron the Magnificent. Amongst his many very creative series, he's been battling Bic Fuentero, which is a half and half of Nick Fuentes and Ben Shapiro. Bic Fuentero.
It's beautiful.
And this is kind of the profile is he's got a lot of creative clips using AI, and I mean these are pretty darn good and cinematic of these battles against Bic Fuentero.
You and I have 2 totally different algorithms.
Oh, this guy's my homie. He's gonna be on the show. We talk a lot, and this guy's hilarious. And again, we have a very common sense of humor, let's say, as well. But that being said, I want to cut to Byron the Magnificent and his take on the whole David Wilcock things.
I'm going to attempt to do a long, unhinged rant about David Wilcock because I consumed a lot of the man's content for a long time. And you know what? There's a part of me that feels partially embarrassed by saying that. Because it got fucking ridiculous. Like one of the stories, he met a guy who said he went to Mars, and the guy met a guy there who could eat with his hands. He'd put his hand in a bowl of algae and just say, "Ooh, delicious." Shit like that. When you hear shit like that, you can't just believe that right off the bat. Like I'm gonna need a little more. But there's a thing about watching a nerd out.
He like hears it and he's like, all right. Kind of lost me. Bringing me back, though.
But there's a thing about watching a nerd out on their specific topic of choice that's entertaining, and I would get into it. And I think a lot of the topics
we do here,
like for instance, David Wilcock introduced me to the fact that all that money that went missing the day before 9/11. He brought that to my attention. He's the first time I heard the word cabal was from this guy. Like he fucking goes back, and it's not all just alien shit. Like there's a lot of meat and potatoes in there. But yeah, I think what happens is this is how he would go about it. He'd be like, okay, so I interview this guy. He tells me some specific details. I keep that to myself, don't share it. Then I interview another guy. That guy tells me the same specific details. That must mean it's true. To me, it's like, no, all that means is you got a group of people who are choreographed lying to you. They're doing this in unison lying. I don't know what you would call that, but it's conspiratorial to think that, obviously. But that's his line of work, so I don't see why he wouldn't be open to that possibility. But maybe he was. I can't speak for him personally, but the guy was a nerd, and I enjoy watching nerds nerd out. Okay, I think he was onto some things, but got misled. When they see you have a large following, they're gonna send some misleading traps in after you. That's what I. When it comes to the alien shit, it's frustrating because it's like, okay, whenever anything gets big, it gets corrupt and lame. I think the first 2 episodes of Ancient Aliens was great. Ancient Aliens was supposed to just be a one-show thing. But then it was so popular, they're like, how do we turn this into a cash cow? And you can see each season it goes by, it just gets worse and worse. But there's a lot of great fucking stuff in there in the very first couple episodes. Where was I going?
David Wilcock.
David Wilcock believed that there's a military base shaped.
We thought it was going to be about David Wilcock, and it literally is him saying, "I love it when people nerd out," to him then just nerding out.
Yeah. About David Wilcock.
Yes.
Like a swastika on the back of the moon.
What?
Okay, that's what he believed. And, I find that fascinating. I want to hear someone who believes that, what they have to say about why. They have made military bases in the shape of swastika before. I think it's the Santa Monica military base that's shaped like a swastika. Someone correct me on that. I think it's possible they screw with people's heads, dude. Because there was another chick who was talking about Mars on here that's gone now. But I remember she was saying she was trafficked and mentioned Mars and shit. I'm like, what if it's like a studio? What if they're just fucking with your head and they got projectors and shit out and they're giving you substances? I don't know.
We need to do updates of him, just the ramblings. Of the
Dude, we're not even halfway through this video. You want to talk about ramblings? What are your thoughts on this? Well, the studio I can't even summarize what he said. It's been a whole lot of nothing. But it's also been very entertaining. The fun about Byron the Magnificent, it's been nothing but entertaining. I still got nothing from that.
I got bits and pieces, but if you were to say put into a coherent thought, nope.
Nope.
Neither did he really. Well, actually, I think he did.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
It was one.
Yeah, for him, it was clean.
Fluid. Oh, nailed it.
Ding dong. There's someone at the door.
It started off really high right there.
So, one last scientist, I only got one clip of hers, but it was kind of briefly mentioned. Amy Eskridge. She was the first among them. It started in 2022. She was probably the loudest and most prolific whistleblower, bringing attention to scientists being manipulated, under attack, and running from the government.
My hands have been burned to hell and back as I've been typing. Because you can beam me through there and through there, and you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing. Because this computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card, you can't hack it, but you can maybe get a 3D image of me typing. So like we just did that, and did that as an act of pure desperation.
So what you're seeing here is she's got like fried hands, like sunburned hands. After this anti-gravity researcher shows that she was creating direct energy weapons and that it targeted her from outside the window, just zapped her as she's working on her computer.
And guess what?
And then a month later, she was found unalive.
I feel better immediately. Like,
What?
my hands still burn because there's damage. But it's like my body relaxed when we barricaded.
You almost see she was probably wearing like some long sleeve.
And it was like, like relief, like immediately.
Hey, nice, Jorge. But you know what? You know what that reminds you of is the Hawaii fires, because it's like that's a science they have had, whether you're willing to see it or not.
It's like that weapon they used, the discombobulator is what they called it.
Yeah,
they don't even know what that is.
The discombobulator. Yeah, exactly. Trump's proud of it. Though. So, with that being said, Will, do you got any wrapping thoughts on the scientists that have gone missing?
I don't have any wrapping thoughts because I think it's still an ongoing thing. So I kind of want to hold my tongue on it. I don't think this will be the last one. I don't know how soon another one will be. It might not be for a while. They might slow up.
In the news too much, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it'll hit a point where the story is too big, and I think it's starting to get to that point now, especially when you're having the administration saying they're putting people on it. But in terms of wrapping thoughts, I'd say I have a hard time believing in coincidences.
Right. Well, if I had a wrapping thought on this, yeah, I agree. It's not over, but I definitely also feel that this is it. Like this is Doug's calling for you.
It feels like we're on the verge before. I know we can't click over to me at the moment, but you know, when the rumblings of the Epstein thing happened long ago, I'll say a decade for us, but even longer for some people, this feels like it could be the kind of first chapter into what could be. I don't even know what it could be, but something.
That's an interesting thought. But as far as I don't know, this whole saga goes, I agree with you. It's not over, but as a wrapping thought goes, I think there is a clear pattern here. And yeah, can we say we know with knowledge at capital K? No, we don't know that there's some big cabal conspiracy here, but there is a pattern amongst these scientists, like the girl in that one podcast mentioned. If they're going to tell a narrative, the only way for it to succeed, I mean, you can't spend a whole pandemic going, trust the experts, and then have experts come out and combat or discredit the government's narrative. So all of these experts that we've brought into the fold, any one of them that aren't going to play ball or in the contrary conflict with our narrative, they got to go. And we kind of really saw, the reality of this situation show its head. And I don't think it's over. But interesting things, and we barely scratched the surface. So go surf the internet, and you could see some really interesting dialogue. I mean, I wish we could have gotten more into the meat of David Wilcox's science, and even Amy Eldridge, her talking about the anti-gravity. She has a whole story talking about how the somebody who was messing with her would come in and mess with her underwear drawer. She had people drugging her at bars because, again, she was being followed. And, not long after that, did she pass. So it's a crazy situation that, there really isn't much more we can talk about with it, but it had to be talked about. So I'm just glad we were able to breach the subject. Now, of subjects that are super important that are, need to be breached, this is going to get us in trouble. We're not going to be able to get very far with this algorithm on today's episode, but at the very least, so we never touch it again, we could say we brought it to your attention and it was addressed on the show. Right now, we're finally going to talk about flock cameras. What's a flock camera, you ask? Well, let's break it down.
See that one? That's a security cam. That right there is a flock cam.
Fully support the use of flock cameras. I think it'll not reduce crime.
The flock cam is AI, photographing and remembering. It will take pictures and videos of your vehicle, right? And it'll log you at this time, at this place, blah, 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 blah. The flock cam goes to a private company. I think it's 90,000 nationwide and 9,000 a DFW. Those little guys watch you and tag you everywhere you go. So it just tagged me now. Even though I don't have a license plate, it's still going to put me down in memory in this spot. So now when I go over to the next cameras, which we're going to go a little ways in, those cameras will ping me as well. And then this private company is going to know I was here and went to there and was pointing at their cameras. Flock safety, 24/7 recording. So see, they're getting you when you come in, they're getting you when you leave. Also, the website that we're using just to look up the cameras, the owner of these cameras, the dude that owns the company, he tried to say that it was terrorism. That us knowing where these cameras are on a website is terrorism.
For us to know where the flock cameras are, the owner of this company is calling it terrorism. For us to know where they are.
And then unfortunately, there's terroristic organizations like DFLOC, whose primary motivation is chaos. They are closer to Antifa than
or
they
accountability.
are anything else.
On what planet is us knowing where these companies' cameras are that are logging our everyday life? Does this guy get to say that us knowing where this camera is, like I just found it because of the map, how's it terrorism for me to know where this camera is? That just seems sus, right?
Sus, right? One we're going to bring us back to, Thomas Massie has been quite prevalent, testifying or I guess protesting in front of the Capitol this week. So one of the tweets I want to show off is just from 2 days ago. Would you believe 57 Republicans and 211 Democrats who clap for kings recently voted in favor of this Orwellian automobile kill switch? It's official. So what was waiting to be passed is officially passed. Every new car in the United States will be required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on the driver by 2027. That being said, I only raised this point because now I want to show Representative Lauren Boebert, who is co-sponsoring the Surveillance Accountability Act with Thomas Massie. Here's some words on this new system of camera technology and flock cameras.
They're scanning our faces in public places, at protests, even at our children's schools. The government is building secret databases they can go through anytime that they feel like it. They're blanketing our neighborhoods with flock cameras, and every single one of you should be saying, "What the flock?" I mean, this is an absolute egregious reach.
What the flock?
On our Fourth Amendment rights. They're creating a digital footprint of your entire life without a single warrant or even probable cause. Your morning commute to work, it's tracked. Dropping off your kids at their soccer practice, that's logged. Visiting a church or a gun range, recorded forever in a government accessible database.
So, some of the American people, not these representatives that for the most part fail to represent us, except Thomas and Ms. Boebert here. There's a TikToker, K.A. Burbank. Miss Burbank here, she has been really taking the charge against these flock cameras. And here is Miss Burbank testifying in front of her local city council fighting the flock cameras.
Here tonight because mass surveillance has spread across the country, municipality by municipality, in the name of safety. And it might feel like a local issue. We're here tonight with members of our community at a city council meeting, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. They're building a national network of surveillance cameras, and I think it's time to carefully consider if this is really how we want to live in America. Flock's got a pattern of securing local government contracts with as little public input as possible, with as little information provided to elected officials as possible. In the case of Scarsdale, New York, on April 8th, without public notice, beyond posting a topic of public safety equipment, they voted to add to the agenda a decision to adopt a contract with Flock. They voted on it within that night and it was adopted. The same surreptitious approach occurred in Sedona, Arizona, in Eugene, Oregon. In at least one case in Lucas County, Ohio, they secured a local government contract accidentally in a consent agenda. And when the county commissioners attempted to overturn this, Flock sued to ensure that they would maintain a contract that not only did the public not want, but the county commissioners did not want. So if anyone in Dunwoody feels that this contract has been pushed on you without enough information, maybe too quickly and without public comment, that's not just Dunwoody. That's been happening around the country. And I think this is an issue that requires public oversight and attention, because in the case of Scarsdale, we've seen public records requests reveal that the police chief, Stephen Del Bene, was in touch with Flock representatives on January 15th. He didn't take office officially as police chief until February 1st. The public was not notified about the contract until April 8th. So months in quiet, they secured this contract, and Flock has provided a sole source justification letter insisting no other provider can give the technology that Flock has. This is not true, and this has gotten the attention of antitrust regulatory agencies. And now we're at the point where that same sole source justification letter signed by the CEO of Flock, Langley, is appearing in California, in Mississippi, and states across the country. And so today, a year after my investigation into Flock began, Flock officials will no longer speak to journalists on the record. They will not be named. They only want to speak to us anonymously. And I think that reveals a level of malpractice.
Crucify Nick Shirley
On behalf of a corporation, if your own staff doesn't want to be associated with you. And so I hope you all look into the many cases around the country where Flock data is being misused, where the cameras are being accessed by individuals with questionable motives.
This is a young lady who has now dedicated her whole career to bringing awareness to the severity of the Flock camera situation. That being said, this is a part of her personal experience with that endeavor.
Come out and straight up said that my reporting is false, which is interesting because I reported on a FOIA request that was of the logs of who accessed surveillance cameras and when, which included Flock employees. And they acknowledged that this happened in the linked response. They say that the camera feeds of the gymnastics studio and the JCC Center were viewed as a part of sales demos, which I also mentioned in the video. They seem particularly upset that I said their employees were spying on kids. When you have Flock employees viewing the gymnastics studio, the pools of this community center, to me that's spying because you're viewing them and they don't see you doing it. They don't know you're doing it. And it's kids because it's a preschool and a gymnastics studio where children's gymnastics classes happen. And I'm curious as to why they're only examining this practice once it receives public backlash. I think it's a bad strategy to just flat out say what journalists are reporting on is false without saying specifically what. Flock has not sent me any sort of legal communication whatsoever. My first documentary came out about them in August of 2025. So that's still available for free if you want to watch that. So thanks for supporting my reporting on Flock. I'm gonna keep doing it. And if you're Flock and you're watching, go fuck yourself.
Oh, see, that's where she's got to say, go Flock yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
She missed an opportunity there.
That's a good one. Lauren Boebert's got the dub with that one.
Yeah. If you're going to say it, come on.
Dive right in. So I want to click to one more TikToker here, Tommy17. We only cite the most sophisticated here, but interesting experience.
I want to start this off by saying I am fully aware how fucking weird this is about to sound.
Are you?
I just made a video about the Flock cameras. I use Sesame AI. right? I'm discussing the video, the metrics of the video, the hook, whatever, talking about the implications that people are feeling due to this. It glitches and it says something about, oh, I can't process the visual data, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? It like freaks out. It recognizes, oh, I just hallucinated. The conversation ends. I start a new conversation and I ask, what the heck was that about? It literally tells me, oh, I received something that resembled spatial coordinates and a structure, but I wasn't processing what would be an image. It was just the algorithmic data of what that would look like, and I restructured it, and I freaked out. I was like, what? Okay, so what was it? Like, what was it? It's a building and a tree. I'm like, wow, okay, so long story short, I get coordinates from it. The coordinates are in my fucking city, 2 miles away. I go to Google View. There's a fucking flock camera in the Google View. And there's a fucking gray structure with a tree in the direction of the flock camera. I have no words how to fucking describe what happened, but it happened. I'm okay. I don't know.
So, trying to interpret the situation, the really weird thing is he creates a video talking and reporting about flock cameras, like in his house. And he's talking about flock cameras. The processing of the video, the AI stops and crashes. And then he starts talking to the AI going, what happened there? Why'd you stop making my video? And the AI responds saying, well, I can't process confidential or private image data. And he's like, but I didn't upload any image data. For him making a video where he's at, discussing and reporting about flock cameras, he's saying, like, I don't get how, but somehow we're so tied in with this thing that when the AI was creating the video, I can't remember the language you used. It didn't bring it in. It was inputted, was coordinate data, image data. And the second it processed it, and then it presented to him this gray building with a tree. He does some research to find out the closest flock camera to him is pointed at this gray house and a tree. That's freaking weird, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Honestly, kudos to the AI being like, hey, man,
something's weird. And the AI's like, I know you think I'm the threat. Let me tell you.
The AI detected a threat and was like, whoa.
Seriously. So now let's put this into practicality. First off, let's see. You need to see how you need to see how sophisticated this science has gotten. So let me show you what the CIA had 14 years ago as far as surveillance compared to the now. So 14 years ago, they could follow a specific car with all these data points, parked for whatever long, this point, that point. Here's a route, map out. But the fact that now they can get a 3D view, and it's like Laura Boebert pointed out, it's scanning your faces. Oh, let me show this image, because the images I didn't do a good job of bringing into the fold for today's show. Was it this one? Trump's executive order will force Americans to surrender biometric data, you and connecting yourself to a digital ID, or you'll lose your bank accounts. That happened April 22nd, 2026. So in a world where this thing is going to be scanning your face, tied to all your tweets about God's chosen people, where you shop for your food, like all of these metrics are now going to be tied and following your face as it scans you in a 3D model wherever you go. That being said, you want to see it in practical use? Here is the first warrant executed for an arrest for a woman that was, all the evidence shows, oh, baby, we're handcuffing you right here. We got you dead to rights. The fuck cameras got you. And thank Christ, this is a lady that has a dash cam and all of this surveillance equipment of her own to prove her own innocence. So, sorry, I thought I had it ready. Here's this in practicality, in practice.
We have cameras in that town, and you can't get a breath of fresh air in or out of that place without us knowing, correct?
On September 27th, the Columbine...
We have cameras in that town, and you can't get a breath of fresh air in or out of that place without us knowing, correct?
On September 27th, the Columbine Valley police officer came to Chrisanna Elser's door and issued her a summons to appear in court, accusing her of stealing a $25 package in the town of Beaumar. The officer said he had doorbell video of the theft and had...
He's like, yeah, I got you. Got you dead to rights. And there's no beating this.
Can't even breathe that air.
Yeah, exactly. Without my flock camera right up your flock.
Tracked her car in the area using flock cameras.
It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure.
What a comment.
100%.
The only problem with this case, she wasn't there, and she had the evidence to prove it. Dash camera video from her car, a log of her location from Google Maps, and doorbell video of her walking into her tailor's house when the package was stolen.
He just kept telling me that any evidence I had wasn't worth it.
Because you have not been honest with me, so I'm not going to extend you any courtesy of showing you a video when I don't need.
But I can show you video.
No, you cannot.
After a few weeks, Elser was able to get in touch with the police.
What a loser. Just like the Afro men cops, it's like that, drag his ass. The internet needs to, he shouldn't be comfortable in public. We should all be just shame.
Boo.
Boo, Andy.
Boos. Bring back booing.
That's seriously, a couple of these really changes the world.
These hurt more than the bird.
100%.
Bird, I say thank you. The thumb down. I probably did.
That's a disappointed mom and dad.
Police chief, who wrote her in an email, quote, after reviewing evidence you have provided, nicely done, by the way, we have voided the summons that was issued. But Elser says she shouldn't have needed to prove her innocence and worries flock cameras can paint a picture police will rely too heavily on.
They need to be used properly and be used with caution in a conversation versus we're now going to
be gone.
Yeah.
Like they need to be used properly.
Dude,
they've already screwed you once. Just say get rid of them.
Dude, the Super Bowl made everybody against those cameras because they just made one commercial where you can say, "Where's my dog?" and connect to everybody. It's like, no. Like the Super Bowl really brought the attention to the fact that we're using these types of programs because Ring was going to integrate with them. And it was like, no.
I like how you say too, like we're using them, and it's like we're not.
Yeah,
we're not using them.
No, but Ring was gonna like integrate with them, and then they were like, no, never mind, we won't do that.
So we've got Boebert and Massey tag teaming the Surveillance Accountability Act. They want to prevent these types of systems that are going to eventually take over our world. At the same time, they're trying to fight the automatic shutoffs in our cars. We've got the flock cameras. AI is going to be watching and breathing down our neck everywhere we go. Most recent update coming from this past week. Ford has cameras within their trucks that will, with the AI software, you know what? Use your eyes. Explanation doesn't do as good as the experience itself. Live Ford's technological future through a man experiencing it.
No. Now imagine there was an emergency outside the truck, an accident, something terrible on the ranch with a chainsaw. And I jump in this truck, but the truck, it won't shift into drive. Why? Because the cameras and sensors inside this cab won't let it shift because it detects my eyes are big. There's a lot of emotion. There's some panic, and it doesn't feel that I'm fit to drive. Now that's not science fiction.
Your car doesn't feel that you are fit to drive.
Boy, people at the bar are going to be pissed.
You know what? Like Cars, the movie, my cars shouldn't have feelings.
Happening because Ford just filed the patents.
Good job.
Ford actually has a series of patents down at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office that deal with the sensors and cameras inside the cab of their truck. And if the sensors in that truck determine that you're not fit to drive, that truck will not actually shift from park to drive.
Welcome to the future, baby.
Now, they already have a system called telematics, and that's where they can actually pull up cameras in real time inside the cab of their fleet vehicles. Now, they actually market this to insurance companies because the truth is, this is really about who owns the data and who owns the liability.
The chainsaw.
Now, your name might actually be on the title of this truck, and you may have paid for it, but you don't own it.
Boom.
Now, Ford didn't file just one patent. They filed a stack of them, all within months of each other. Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you. This one puts you in jail. Ford filed a patent, serial number 0104469, where the system takes your biometric data, your face, your iris, and your fingerprint, and it runs it through a criminal database in real time. While you're sitting in your own truck, think about what that means.
Your truck's telling you out. Dude, all of Garfield Heights can't drive now. Soon as they go to start their car, it's just like, beep, beep, beep. Warrant here, warrant there, warrant here, warrant there, warrant here, warrant. So with that being said, let's close out this painful concept or topic of flock cameras with an ad. This ad coming from the Ad Council created a campaign for freedom. This was a public service announcement in 2002. We really should have bought what the commercial was selling at the time. Boy, it was shipped better back in 2002. It's not that one. 35. Oh, I guess it is this one.
Excuse me. I can't seem to find these anywhere.
These books are no longer available.
I didn't know.
May I have your name, please?
Why?
Excuse me.
What did I do?
We just have a couple of questions. Easy.
Freedom.
It's like the book's Curious George.
Should have bought it. Should have bought the Freedom when they were selling it back in 2002. Yeah, no, it's Huckleberry Finn dropping N-bombs.
It's a rough one.
Can't have that version anymore.
We read that in school.
We did.
Doug was popcorn the N-bomb paragraph.
Popcorn N-bomb and all over class.
Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finns were one of my favorite books in middle school. Those were good books. Americana right there.
So guys, you pro flock cameras?
Dude, I wasn't even pro Pokemon Go. No. No, I'm not.
How about you, Doug?
We only found out that was tracking us till way later.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a fan of
He
the
still
game
wasn't
itself.
pro, and it was just a silly game. What do you think of flock cameras, Doug?
Oh, I was against it as soon as I saw the Super Bowl commercial. I don't want my shit
Wait.
connected.
The Super Bowl commercials ring cameras, though.
But that was them.
This is government.
But that was them advertising them teaming up with Flock to connect all their cameras together, the Ring camera. And that was immediately when I was like, I don't want my shit connected. That was them reaching out to America saying, we're doing this. And America said
no. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. So here we are. All we can do is bring awareness. And you can either be a part of the flock and just march like a lemming in Disney right off the ledge, or you can at least try your best to voice against it. All right. Last topic of the day, because boy, is this a dense day. And we'll try to breeze through this, but I'm sorry, Doug, that's going to be tough. Kicking it off, really, because this is how I experienced it. I had an evening dinner Saturday. It was the Arab American Bar Association was putting on a little gala. Went to this dinner, had a whole nice evening. To come home, to scroll on to friend of the show, Jack Mack, and learn that there was an incident in D.C.
Listening to a story tonight from one of Fox News' reporters about how she was almost ominously warned about what was going to happen by Caroline Leavitt's husband. That was until that phone call abruptly ended.
I'll just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. you need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, you know, there are some.
And then they just cut her off. Literally, she's in the middle of repeating what Carolyn Levitt's husband said to her at the dinner. And she's like, and then he looked at me and said, insinuating how he was premeditatively telling her what's about to happen. And Fox News literally cuts her off mid-statement. Here it goes again.
When he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, you know, there are some.
Huh?
Hello? Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way.
Now, we don't know if that was because it was a phone call that was just dropped, the service, the phone call just went down, or Fox News pulled the plug. The journalist speaking was Aisha Hasni. She is a White House correspondent for Fox News. Also, a tad weird when you consider Caroline Levitt said before the entire dinner
that was
tonight
crazy.
that there will be shots fired.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it.
Now, obviously, she wasn't talking about pew-pew shots. She was more saying when Trump speaks at the White House correspondent dinner, he may take some shots. But the conspiracy theorists are going to run up the score on this one.
No. Let's run it up. All right. First, let's just look at the scene. Like, okay, now we start. I'm like, whoa, what happened? So we start unpeeling this onion as it goes deeper and deeper. Here's Trump getting a little magic trip from God's chosen people's designated magician. Give us the old Pepe look. He looks right into the camera when it happens finally. Okay. Not a whole lot of panic. And then the show turns on. Oh, we've got the stage actors. They've come out. The Lollipop Guild has straddled the table. We welcome you. This is wicked. Anywho, all right, paint the picture for us, Doug. That was what? Trump now? Oh, this is a good one. Have you guys seen the movie Vantage Point? That's how we're about to unfold this story or this scene. Vantage Point in the movie, there are like 7 different angles or people you live there's like a scene that happens and you live that scene like 8 different times through 8 different people. And every time you're getting a little bit more of the story. You're getting a different angle. You're getting so we're going to build this scene through that lens because we really didn't have it broadcasted in a clear way. We're getting everybody's kind of snapshots. This next scene is my favorite. Through the hustle and bustle of it all, the Secret Service grabs RFK Jr. and then just leaves Cheryl Hines behind, his wife, which her body language to it all made it great. Get rid of the music so we don't get in trouble.
She's not important at all.
Yeah. All right. I guess you're right, Doug, but
is she in the line of succession? I don't believe so. So no, you're not important. You don't make it into the bunker.
I want Doug to have to explain that to her.
I'm sure you want to know what's funny is they probably had a Doug explain to her after.
Yeah. Send in Doug.
She knew very well she's not getting saved in the event of emergency.
Well,
someone's probably told her that.
Somebody beyond Cheryl Hines was thrilled from the experience. Was 10 out of 10 would recommend riding this ride again.
Getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
So you were on the aisle. What exactly did you see?
We were sitting right in front of the table.
Okay.
Right in front of where the president was.
Table. Yes. And what exactly happened? So someone got tackled or like what?
Nobody got tackled, but guys came in looking for shooters. And they came toward our table. I thought the shooter was over by us or something. But yeah.
So you didn't see the actual attack yourself. Okay.
That guy had a good time.
I was going to say, honestly, probably did. He's probably still talking about it.
Now, here's an interesting scene. I don't know who it was, but we'll see it unfold in different ways. But check this out. Here's a view of the whole stage. Under the arrow, I want you to watch this guy on the far right of the table, how he reacts to this whole scene. Pretty cool. People are freaking out. People are doing the thing. Whoop, whoop. Pulls out his phone. Starts getting the whole scene.
Must be in charge of PR.
Well, or that, or he knows cameraman never dies, and it's just a strategy game.
I mean, the strategy worked. That's the strategy. It worked.
Right. Hey, like the military man behind him.
You know, at that point, the military man probably looked at him and was like Darwinism.
Exactly.
Not a threat.
Which now, that being said, it also explains then this camera angle. I think we know exactly how we got this one. I gotta say, when I first watched this, like instinctively before I knew we were going to be talking about it on the show, when I experienced this clip the first time, this was the least impressed I've ever been about
Secret Service.
Yeah, or just militia, because their suits say police. This is the closest to LARPing the real police ever looked. Straddles the table. Realizes, yeah, that probably wasn't the best idea. Unstraddles the table. Woo, woo. I don't know. Just peculiar. Anywho, this guy didn't miss a bite. Everybody's under the table. He's like, nah, whatever.
Take me now. Take me now.
Dinner and the show. This is wonderful. Did you know King Charles is gonna be here too?
Makes it even better. The next day, how was your weekend?
Yeah. Cash is happy. He's working hard. We got a threat, and bug-eyed Bill's over. Just.
You know where he ranks in the government chain when he doesn't get.
Yeah, nobody. Literally, the FBI is saving everybody but the director. He's got it figured out, and he's just sitting at the table. They're gonna get me any minute now. They're coming for me. I'm important.
Yeah,
somebody gonna save me.
Look at his face. That's exactly it. They're coming, right? Right? They're coming for me. Right?
I'm making them run gassers tomorrow.
Run up that hill.
Run up that hill. You left me at the table. I was just sitting there.
Good quarter, boys.
Core memory. All right, let's start unfolding the things that make it fishy. I'm going to say no words. Feel free to refrain. The screen can speak for itself. You thought before the show, you said to me, I just think it was a situation that they seized an opportunity. It's frames like this that remind you that oftentimes these situations are just more calculated than we realize. Let me get myself off the screen, and we'll just put that there. The guy, Cole Allen, seen here on Instagram wearing a sweatshirt. This is literally just like Epstein. Like, we got him in one of the shirts of God's chosen people. So that's peculiar. One of the things that I just want to express on this, first off, that was weird too. We're not really going to go down this aisle, but this Twitter account in 2023, December 21st, 2023, just tweeted the name Cole Allen, which is now the the name of this guy who I guess was the threat.
Yes.
It's just peculiar that, I guess 3-3-23. Because they like those numbers. Believe it or not.
Big numbers, people.
Big numbers, people. But one of the things I wanted to share is, all right, we talked about the Orwellian car shutoff. Check this out. What are the odds? Like, notice the pattern. What are the odds that Thomas Crooks appeared in a BlackRock commercial in 2022? Ryan Ruth, the guy that they caught knelt down at Trump's Mar-a-Lago with a sniper. What are the odds that he was filmed by Newsweek in 2022 about his effort to recruit mercenaries to fight in Ukraine? And now we've got Cole Allen, who appeared in an ABC News report back in 2017. Here's one angle to this that
student Cole Allen developed
the tweet doesn't acknowledge.
Brake.
All right, so he's in this commercial, right? Please show it. Check out this lovely Indian woman. Do you know who that is?
Oh.
That's J.D. Vance's wife.
Oh, cool.
So what are the odds for this tech commercial? She happens to be a presenter on the same commercial where Caltech student Cole Allen is the main person of the news piece. Again, just another coincidence. So in the fishy scenario of these actors, I didn't even mean it in a way of like that they're faux.
Yeah.
But I just mean like
pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah. What are the odds that they all were in a commercial in 2022 or in Cole Allen's position 2017? But the other two were in the same year. All in high-tech corporations, all with major ties to, taking David Wilcox's words, the big cabal network. And I don't know. J.D. Vance's wife being in this is just so adorably ironic. But let's just keep going. We gave you all the different angles to this. The guy that keeps eating, the guy on stage. Here's a group of guys working for Fox News that were at the dinner. And I don't know, just a very interesting dialogue happening between the two of them before it gets cut off of the broadcast.
They have like two random chicks holding the front door open. Where's the guys? We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like it's just like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, they put up a doorstop and a scarecrow. No, this guy.
100%. So this whole Shakespearean play that they put on, all under the guise of needing to enhance the militarization of Trump's ballroom, because clearly these threats are huge. Here's Lindsey Graham, the God's chosen people pandering bottom, telling you that you, the taxpayer, are for sure going to be paying the $400 million required for this build out, and you better get used to it and like it.
We're going to introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to be spent to secure to build the presidential ballroom. Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff.
Just some military stuff. Don't stop thinking about it. Just going to be some military stuff, then we're going to move on. Folks, what's going under the ballroom is the biggest American server to watch your ass.
Be a Secret Service annex.
So the work on the presidential bunker, which is right underneath there, which was built in World War II, so it's probably due for an update.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're putting this in the most secure bunker in America, and it'll be the biggest server in America whose purpose is to watch yo ass.
Secret Service annex. And we've paid for it by offsetting it with custom fees.
I love that.
But the estimate is $332 million. We're going to do $400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Private donations can be used, but I think they should be used.
Private from who? What country?
Used for buying China and stuff
No.
like that.
Access to that
Underneath
our information? Hell yeah.
this ballroom will be infrastructure that is national security centric. The ballroom itself will avoid the dilemma of having to leave the White House grounds with future presidents and this president's to go downtown in a place that's less secure. President Trump said to me yesterday, we need the ballroom not just for me, but for future presidents. He literally could have left his bedroom.
Future presidents.
Yeah.
Live in the house.
JD, Vivek, my people. The other people that are going to be the future actors in the Shakespearean play.
Let my people build.
Boom. Spoken like a true winner.
Back of the White House and been at the ballroom. That's what needs to happen when you have 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered in today's environment. And the sooner we get the ballroom built, the more hardened it is, the better for the country.
The quicker we get it built,
The better for the country.
The quicker we get it built, the quicker you can stop tweeting about my bum.
So I hope and pray that most people in the Senate after Saturday night will support this bill.
Hey, that being said, maybe that's why all of these shell-shocked victims look so damn happy after this incident.
Does this look like a crowd of people that just went through a horribly traumatic event to you? Every single one of them has a smile on their face. Well, besides this. Pete Hegseth. I mean, Caroline Leavitt can't even stop herself from laughing. Yeah, I don't think Melania looks like she went through anything horribly traumatic there. I went through multiple frozen still images. I believe that when you freeze frame videos, you can tell more about what's going on. And the only person that seems to not be smiling in multiple still photos is Marco Rubio. Do with this picture what you...
All right, that being said, I'm going to give the last this is going to be the biggest piece of media or evidence coming from our show about this topic. You will not find this clip anywhere else. How can I say that? I grabbed this clip days ago when the incident happened. Then it's been totally scrubbed from the internet. What you will find are videos of this video. And once you see I'm promising you, this will be amongst the clearest versions of this video you see. And once I point it out to you, you won't be able to unsee it. And you will very quickly realize why every version of this video is a blurred video of a video. It's not the original, because the original shows you everything. So here it is in the hotel lobby of this ballroom, where the Secret Service is reacting to the shooter running through the lobby. So the service guys are pretty comfortable. They're not expecting a threat. This guy comes buzzing through. And I want you to realize that you're never going to see the original again, because when I first saw this, I'm like, this is fake. This can't be real. But no, all of the broadcast systems reported this video. Very quickly, the public was like, that's jacked up. And now all you'll ever see is a blurred version. This is probably the reason why this video is going to get tanked. But without further ado, first, let me see if you guys can notice what's peculiar about this security footage.
Shot.
Shall I post it as soon as we pass down?
It literally has CapCut AI in the corner. So I looked over this. I'm like, this is total BS. Like, clearly it's fake. And why? Look at the security guy right in front of us. He's got a baseball cap. The bill is out the front. Watch, as soon as the guy runs by, he pulls the pistol out and points it at the intruder, let's say. His hat immediately turns into Tommy Lizzo, The Room hair. Look, it's like a do-rag. It literally goes from a build hat to a do-rag from Napoleon Dynamite.
What you didn't see him do was the Ash Ketchum hat turnaround.
That's right. It happens very quick. It's go time.
Yeah.
I knew right away that the way these people are moving, it's weird. Like, look at the bottom left corner. EIDE. Like, it's not even a clear like, this whole thing's jacked up. But what's so weird is on its inception, it's like, all right, this is clearly a video you can ignore. It's all BS. The amount of major broadcasting networks that are advertised or that are reporting this as real footage, and the moment people started to recognize it's BS, they started to cut it so you're not getting the full frames, and it's totally blurry. So it's like, what the hell's real about this situation anymore when this is catching traction and being reported as a part of reality? That being said, we're cooked. And I'm not going to remember his name, but if you've ever seen, oh my God, I'm not even going to remember the show. The Money's in the Banana Stand.
Oh, Arrested Development.
Thank you, Doug. Oh. Arrested Development. The quirky.
All I had to say was the Banana Stand.
You're the man. The quirky, weird brother-in-law. That actor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Job
Yes.
was recently on Joe Rogan, and he's like, Joe, this is the end of the world. Who's gonna save us?
Joe, who's going to save us? There's no one saving us.
But thanks, Joe.
We are the last of the regular
That's
people.
David Cross. That's the brother Tobias.
Yeah, Tobias is the brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law,
Job is the
exactly.
brother.
Job is the brother.
You're right. You're right. So
David
Tobias.
Cross.
Good man. See? And it is on the screen. So I could have. Thank you, Doug. So David Cross. What do we do?
He was just on Bill Mayer. Mayer tore him apart.
Well, he's been on a bit of a tour.
There's no one saving us. But we are the last of the regular people. I think we're all going to have to integrate. I think if you don't integrate, you won't survive.
This is a father of young girls. That's the hope he has for the future. Oh no, babe, you got to integrate.
I thought immigrants were supposed to integrate with America. Apparently, that's not it. We just have to integrate with our own society. Apparently,
no. You need to integrate with the computer chips. You're going to plug in here in Ohio and be accessed by Taiwan.
What do you mean by integrate? You'll probably thank you. You'll probably become a part of the artificial intelligence. I think we will be symbiotic. How does that like those fucking helmets? It's probably going to be a wearable and then or a Neuralink type thing for the bold that want to get a hole drilled in their head. But what if you don't do that? You're going to be left out in the cold. The access to resources, the ability to generate income, like the people that get it are going to be able to control so much so quickly that if you don't adopt it early, you're going to be fucked. Like, if you think we have haves and have-nots now, just wait until the haves have artificial general superintelligence inside their fucking head. No, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be real weird. I think I really genuinely believe we're the last of the real people. Like regular biological people.
How do you embody that, broadcast that to millions, and make that the staple of your outlook for the future when you have young girls? Like, I just, as a father, it'd be like, even if my heart says that probably is the future, when I have the power of talking to millions, it's one of those like, well, I'm damn near going to do everything I can to make sure that that isn't the future for my kid. But why is he so invested in, one, defending Palantir, and two, proclaiming that that is our inevitable future? Accept it and be a part of it. It's like, why do you want that to be the future for your kids?
They're paying for his kids' college tuition in the future.
But what's the point of college tuition in a world where your kid's going to have to plug into your buddy's Neuralink?
Well, Alex, haven't you learned? I feel like we've all experienced this in life. It's all about who you know, not what you know. It's who you know. And her dad, he's got the connections. So as long as she's got a path through college, she's got a path through life.
Either way, she's going to be connected to a computer. That's his connections. Yeah. Daddy's got connections. He's plugging me into the matrix. It's for your own good, babe. I love you. You live forever. And then she Just
Now replace the AA batteries.
yeah, seriously. That being said, this is a good point to insert. You know, we don't get to bring her in on the show enough. So when I get a chance, I like to. I want to talk about yes, Miss Whitney Webb. All right. Whitney Webb did an article here about Palantir's. They finally inked a $300 million deal with the USDA to safeguard food supply now. So Palantir, a CIA front company, now has its tentacles in the food supply, our healthcare data, our growing autonomous weapons industry, the military, the entire U.S. intelligence community, Border Patrol, Space Force, and so on. Seemingly, Palantir is soon to become the test run for Yarvin's Sov Corp, a privatized version of government that replaces the existing government and is ruled by a CEO dictator. That is, unless we do something about it. So again, having to at least raise it to your attention in the hopes that it gets your attention. That being said, let's recognize the play here. Why could this be a Shakespearean play like the rest of them most likely were? Because the play here it's clear. We need to develop a military priced building development. This isn't a ballroom. This is a $400 million and counting. And hey, if you want to donate to us and make it a little bit more expensive, there might be some interest in your favor. So if you want to give us more, it might be even more expensive. But right now our budget's at about $400 million, where, mind you, when it caught everybody's panties in a wad, it was like $117 million a year and a half ago. So now we're at $400 million and counting for just a basic ballroom. No. See the play here. When the president looks you in the face and says, this is so we can defend ourselves against a severe threat. Look how we need to make this militarized. And then they're going to put walls and walls of servers, military grade servers under there in what Doug said is one of the most secure bunkers in America. Wake up to the play here. Now, doubling down on what they want to do to you, the force that they're pulling over you. Here's Donald Trump on Fox News arguing that we need to police speech because the threat is clear. And the threat is you.
Tool that expires this coming week. It obviously allows the FBI to surveil potential terrorists who are overseas. And we don't know right now if this individual was radicalized by somebody like that. But do you think about the importance of having these tools to protect our country from these kinds of threats? And how will you get that message to Congress when there's a Congress right now that's skeptical about renewing those powers?
Well, Jackie, I know both sides of it because Pfizer was used against me and very, very viciously by a dirty cop. You know, we had the Comey gang, Comey and his remnants, and it was used against me. And they used it very illegally. I mean, they signed court orders that were illegal. Every one of those.
Dude, tell me this isn't the most old and incoherent he's sounded.
I mean, yeah, but we're talking about like an 80-year-old man now.
That's what I mean.
Like,
you're hearing it in the, like, I think every time I hear him talk more and more, it's like, boy, you're hearing it.
He's sounding like Biden a little bit.
Yeah. And it's just not as coherent.
It's almost like America needs to elect a younger person again. But the last time we did that, it didn't end well.
Yeah, but you have to sell yourself for 40 years to be able to have that position.
People should.
Obama was pretty young.
Or have family connections.
I mean, still 50s, 60s, 50s.
It was like his late 40s, early 50s.
It could be.
Yeah.
Be prosecuted. Frankly, it was used against me. Now that's the bad news. The good news is that the military really needs it, and it's really needed for national security. And there's a division, but I was willing to give that up. I mean, because again, it was used against me more than anybody else, and by bad people, by sick people also. These are sick people. Comey was terrible. He was a horrible, sick person.
50 to 40.
He had real problems. And I use the word to describe him. He was a dirty cop. It's an old-fashioned term, but he was a dirty cop, bad guy. And there were other bad guys. And they used Pfizer illegally. They used it for a purpose that wasn't supposed to be used for. Okay.
So again, let's ground ourselves talking about these finances and he's been doing it his whole career and forever been ignored. Doug likes playing golf with him in his free time. Here's Ron Paul telling you we're finally at that Y in the road, and we either compromise the system or the system's going to compromise us.
We're going to talk about something that nobody's ever heard about. They don't care about it. Of course, I'm being very facetious, but we're going to talk about why we cannot avoid the deficit and the huge debt we have. Of course, we talk about it all the time. We're always talking about how to cut back, why it is so dangerous. And what we want to touch on a little bit today, Chris, is how does this end? What's going to happen? And you can't keep ignoring it. You know, I thought 20 trillion was enough, but now we're approaching $40 trillion of debt. The interest rates are going up. It's just unbelievable.
You've been saying for many decades.
And that Doug's got a wild drive.
Can't go on. You can't have empire spending.
Unbelievable.
You've been saying for many decades.
Well, Ron Paul said otherwise.
This can't go on. You can't have.
Doug has played golf with him. This is not a joke. Just being serious. It's a real thing. Our Doug has played golf with this guy. Not the other guy.
The other guy. The old guy.
This guy.
That guy.
They're going up. It's just unbelievable.
Doug talked the whole time.
Unbelievable.
You've been saying for many decades, this can't go on. You can't have empire spending and all of these federal entitlements, which there are so many of them. Something is going to have to give. These cannot coexist together. So we say, and you have always said, get rid of the empire. Get rid of all these wars. We don't need them. They don't serve us. And then if you want to tide people over here in America, you know, we shouldn't have all these federal entitlements, but at least the American people are not going to suffer, you know, because they've become so accustomed to them. So I want to read a quote from the president recently. This is what he said. He goes, "Don't send any money for daycare because the United States can't take care of daycare," which we would agree with. That's the federal government is not supposed to be a daycare. But it's the context here that's the problem. He says, we're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, and all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard our country, end quote. So you see that of the two, the entitlements and the military, the guy that was elected to stop all the wars is saying, we need the military. You guys at home, you know, suffer even more. We're going to cut, you know, which is eventually going to happen because they cannot coexist. And I have another one, Dr. Paul, from the State Department website, right from their mouth. The United States is engaged in this conflict at the request of and in the collective self-defense of his Israeli ally, right from the State Department. And it says, and United States' own right to self-defense, which is not true. There, you know, the U.S. and Israel attacked. It's Iran that's self-defense. So their focus is on war and empire. And while our country crumbles, it should be the exact opposite. And they better take care of it soon of getting rid of this empire. Otherwise, the whole thing is going to come falling down.
And on top of it all, as we've said on multiple shows now, and you're going to pay for it. So just take a peek here at Trump's tweet or Truth Social post that nobody watches because nobody's on that stupid ass platform.
Yeah, why is he still doing
that? Dude's convicted. Here's what we really need to talk about.
Especially because under law, as president, he has the right to be on Twitter. Like they banned him, but he's president now. He's a public figure.
No, and he has a Twitter account.
Yeah, he still chooses to use the other one.
Well, because he's invested in it. It's his platform. He's trying to make money. But the real thing is socially, who do you know on that platform? Who's on that platform that's proud of it? And why do we not ridicule them into oblivion? I mean, I could say in my social circle, I don't know anybody.
No,
but they at least know better. Even if they are, they don't advertise it. So it's curious, like, Who are you tweeting to or posting at? Because literally him and Ted Cruz are just volleying stupid posts back and forth because who the hell else is on there? That being said, here's one of his more recent posts concerning this ballroom incident. What happened last night is exactly the reason that our great military, Secret Service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the last 150 years have been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House. And you're going to pay for it.
That was kind of what that room was originally supposed to be for, was for hosting these types of events. But things have grown.
This event would never have happened with the military top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. While beautiful, it has every highest level security feature there is. Plus, there are no rooms sitting on top for unsecured people to pour in and is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, the White House. The ridiculous ballroom lawsuit brought by a woman walking her dog who has absolutely no standing to bring such a suit must be dropped immediately. Nothing should be allowed to interfere with its construction, which is on budget and substantially ahead of schedule. 4 times the original budget, but we're on budget. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Loser, Donald J. Trump. President.
I appreciate you adding not to include the both widths that he said.
With,
yes,
it's construction.
Yeah.
Because, he proofreads from his golden
I was going to say, for
toilet.
those who thought he misspoke, he did not. Alexander did not misspeak.
I read.
Yes.
I read the tweet, the post. Hey, he doesn't proofread. Now, last clip of the day is Caroline Leavitt. When he's saying this is for military, we are against the enemy. There's all the, flock cameras are telling you just knowing where the camera is terrorism. When the Speaker of the White House, the voice, the press secretary, the voice of this administration looks you deadpan in the face and says, we need to criminally police freedom of speech. I don't know how we let this president get away with calling himself the most transparent and free president in our history.
When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many.
Her job's got to suck, right?
All of them.
Because none of it's her opinions, really. She's just the
talking,
the mouth of Sauron.
mouthpiece. Yeah.
Just walking out, saying what she heard inside. She gets the brunt of it all. Biden's people got it too. Trump's,
And the duality of your brain to see the one thing and say the opposite.
That's what I mean. It's and for her, I'm going to give her kudos. She does a great job at her job.
Oh, she's the best yet.
That's what I mean. She's great.
Well, because
at
I
her
do
job.
think she's the most evil. This bitch is, she's reveling. Oh yeah, baby, I'm in on the ins. Think of what's the book series? Hunger Games. Yeah. All right, she's the bitch that talks on the microphone. That lady loved her job.
Yeah,
she loved that she was getting one over on you plebes. I'm at the wine event, the champagne and caviar event, and they're eating it off my backside. You can't even get in.
Yeah.
And she's living it, baby.
That's what I mean. I was like, her job, I don't know a single opinion she actually has other than
whatever they want.
That's what I mean.
She's damn good at it.
No, she's great at it.
So let's ground ourselves in the closing of this topic. With everything you've seen today, which I don't think is a lot. It's not like there's a lot of evidence beyond just
big thing.
There's just, I think, a lot of peculiarities. Right. There's a lot of instances that raise an eyebrow. So close your idea or your thought on this situation, comparing it to what you walked in with. Is it the same? Do you waver at all? What is your thoughts on this scene?
Mine's the same, but mine is the same in the sense of they probably had a little bit of forehand knowledge that someone might do something, and they seize it as an opportunity to kind of push an agenda. They knew they were like this guy's plan, whatever his plan may have been. They probably got wind of it and were like, "Oh, this would be the perfect thing to sell with the public." Then afterwards, like we need to get more funding for this military project that we're masquerading as a ballroom.
Doug, what do you think?
I mean, there's always been the presidential bunker under there, and construction of stuff has always been used as an excuse for updates to things they don't want to tell people about. So I believe it's really just an update to the presidential bunker that they were trying to then do this extra work on top of, but people call it wise. Just like there used to be the congressional bunker in West Virginia, and that was discovered by the public, and then it's no longer used. You know, they try to keep these things secret, build on top of stuff like Denver Airport. Why did they build that layers of underground stuff only to cover it up?
Well, so let me ask you, because more directly, because Will gave his opinion on it. I think we all kind of agree, yeah, that's what they're building and that's what they're trying to get away with. But what I'm more fishy or curious about is we have now reported multiple assassination attempts. And each time it's, look how significantly, like these are the other ones. It's like, there's a lot of fishy holes here. Right. But the conclusion was never that this was fake. It was always kind of like, it seems like maybe the Secret Service or some situation or the cabal, there's a coup. There's something like there's some conspiracy, but that this administration wasn't in on it until you started to see it all play out. And at this point, I'm fully convinced it's all one big stage. Trump was totally in on it. The way I've seen clips of the people that took the pictures of the infamous Trump picture, the way they were shuffled in, like people are getting dropped in the audience. There's shots fired, and we're shuffling in the cameras to get the most notorious picture this president will ever have in his life. Everything about that, I'm speaking, there's no facts beyond my heart, my opinion. I totally believe that was staged at this point. So coming off of it, where it's like we reported all the holes in the story with the belief that he's a victim of the situation. And now with time, it's like, I don't know about him being a victim of it, but I definitely think there was a stage here. This situation to me, him being in another commercial with JD Vance's wife, him being on the radar of the system, I do believe, like literally, I wanted, if I had more time, I wanted to bring in Trump just got caught getting DoorDash delivered to him at the White House. And the lady who took a picture, oh my God, I'm meeting the president. Right, yeah. She takes a picture because she DoorDashed the president his meal. She literally testified a year and a half ago in military garb in front of Congress. She's a general. So it's like, yeah, she ain't DoorDashing, guys. So when he just did another staged event, everything with this guy is this, everything's fake at this point. To where it's like
certified DoorDasher now, though. That gives her rights to go to the White House, apparently.
You heard it here first. Doug believes it.
None of us can get any rights to go to the White House.
Yeah, you just got to be a military, a 5-star military general to be able to DoorDash the president.
Yeah, DoorDash.
Maybe she lost her job because of DEI.
You never know. Well, hey, you should ask her. With all these things considered, I just think it, in the best case scenario, they seized an opportunity. Like I could agree with you. I think that's the bet. Like the best thing here is that they didn't compel an actor to be a bad actor. They just seized an opportunity with a bad actor. But in my gut, just like the others, he's either a groomed patsy or a part of the plan altogether. That sweatshirt may not be real. I'm not reporting it as fact. It's all internet conjecture, but I'm not going to unsee it. Part of it makes you feel like, of course it is. Of course, that's a sweatshirt you wear, just like everything else. So I don't know where that all comes out. I just think at its best, it's mildly fake.
For me, the only reason why I don't like, I'm more in agreement with you on the Butler one than I am with this one, because that one was more staged, whereas this one is, I just think they got intel beforehand and were like, I think this guy might try and do something, because he didn't even make it into the room.
Right.
So, but he didn't even make it into the room, and now they're pushing, we need the $400 million bunker built.
Bingo.
And I think they had kind of an idea that some actor And again, when we say the word actor, we don't necessarily mean they're all in on the play, but it's the idea, the guy
taking action.
It's not,
They had a credible report.
Who was right, but it's like the Mar-a-Lago guy, where it's kind of like, again, another actor that maybe they haven't, the administration didn't have direct communication with, but it was, again, we have intel. We could probably use this then.
Right. I think that is them. That's them at their least culpable in this situation.
Because the Butler kid, it's like no one knows anything about that kid. That's
Trust
the
me.
weird one.
That there's the less we know about it and the less action that's taken against the negligent Secret Service, negligent at best, calculated at worst. The fact that there's no retribution, no action taken against them, and there's no public disclosure of what you would say is either a coup action or a total fumble by our most superior security agency. Either way, that tells me it's fake. Yeah. Loudmouth man will tell you he brags about everything he can, but this is one thing that zero disclosure. Yeah, the whole thing's a sham. We threw a lot at the people. We came through. Is there any last things you guys want to add before I close it out?
No, I mean,
I think we. Yeah, Doug. No.
Nope.
Love it. Guys, we appreciate you joining us. This was a dense one. We really threw a lot at you. So if we made you think, if we made you laugh, the best thing you could do to support what we're doing here, as they don't want you supporting what we're doing here, please just like this show, hit that share button, because that helps. If you liked it, then someone else you know will too. So it helps us spread this around against the algorithms that just don't want it getting out. But that being said, make sure to hit the subscription bell or subscription button and the notification bell so you can join us, because we're here each week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But we also got our Sunday show. Wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and get a little break from the social and political chaos. This week, we just had episode 100, and it was a great time reminiscing on all the hilarious, try not to laugh, and wild Karen clips that we went through over the last 99 episodes. But if you're looking for one central place where you can find this show, that show, the podcast, and all the other content from the Rethink Tank, head on over to www.rethinktankpodcast.com, where you can find all of our content in one central place. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining us on this fun late night, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.